A very good afternoon to you all. Namaskar. Vanakkam. My former colleague and good friend, former Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court, Mr. Devashish Paul, Mr. Sarfuddin Ahmed, Mr. Adish Agarwal, President of the Bar Association of the Supreme Court, Mr. Yusuf, Mr. Felix Xavier, and Mr. Ikramul Bari. And every one of you present here, on and off the dais. It's always a pleasure to be back amidst lawyers, because as you all know, I was also elevated from the bar, and before my elevation, I had been a member of the bar. Having been a first generation lawyer, in that my father was a government servant who had nothing much to do with law, I know more than anyone else, and so does my colleague, about the difficulties that lawyers face initially and then all through. Initially, it's a question of finding one's feet and making a break in the profession. When you do make a break in the profession, there is a lot of hard work involved. People seldom understand that lawyers do not work from 10 to 5. They do not have fixed hours like people belonging to other professions. There are times when you may have to work the whole evening and whole night in order to get an important case ready for a client. In the difficult conditions in which many of us work, a convention and an organization of this kind of lawyers and occasional conventions are very important, because we can discuss how we can serve the community of lawyers and the institution of justice. We all know that lawyers are officers of court with a tremendous duty to uphold justice. We belong to a country which has a vibrant constitution. The people of this country gave to themselves a constitution which constitutes India into a sovereign democratic republic, to which the words socialist and secular were incorporated by the 42nd Amendment Act of the Constitution. This constitution promises to secure to all justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote amongst all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity of the nation. Now today it is unity and integrity of the nation. We all belong to a fraternity, the fraternity of lawyers. We are all lawyers. There is no other difference. No difference of language, caste, creed, religion, nothing. We have to work concertedly towards the cause of justice. There is a thread which links the various things which are stated in the preamble to the Constitution. Justice, social, economic and political. It also includes justice for women. Women should be respected. They should be given what is rightfully due to them. They have to be treated equally. There can be no difference on grounds of caste, creed, religion, etc. Without social justice, without economic justice, can there be social justice? Perhaps not. After all, everyone has a right to earn. Everyone has the right to a decent standard of living. Political justice is also related. Then, of course, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. These are very valuable liberties which have to be treasured. Just as I walked in, I was telling Mr. Bari, do you still have your partnership? I used to joke with him because I often used to meet him on the flight on his way to Dargah Sharif in Ajmer. And I used to tell him, when you pray there, please pray for me as well. So just now I told, and then I used to jokingly say that he has made a partnership with the Dargah Sharif to contribute a little part of his income there every year. Just now I told him, do you still do it? He said, yes, I still go there. So I said, don't forget to pray for me. And I'll give you the money in advance. So if you forget, then all your prayers, the benefit of all your prayers will come to me. When I was in Calcutta, I used to make it a point to go to St. Paul's Cathedral on Christmas Eve. I loved it. It so happens that I'm born Hindu. So far as my beliefs are concerned, it is completely secular. Now, what exactly do we understand by secularism? Secularism means equal respect for all religions, where the state does not profess any religion officially, where people of all religious groups are treated equally. It is very important to ensure this unity, brotherhood of people. There is an expression we often hear: united we stand, divided we fall. So far as the rich heritage of this country is concerned, there is a history of unity. Many of the religious customs which are practiced by us are actually borrowed from brothers and sisters who follow a different religion. Now, there are some people from Bengal here, and you do the Satyanarayan Pujo. And what do you say at the middle of the shlok? Amin, Amin. Do you say it? Now, where did this Shinni come from? Is Shinni originally a Bengali dish? No. In those glorious days of Murshidabad, the people used to celebrate occasions together. I spent only one Christmas in Madras, and that was at the Santum. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to the church because the service in church was in Tamil. But I went to the school next to the church where they were having the service in English. Basically, what do the religions teach us? Is there really any difference? Think about it. It is love, respect, charity, compassion. I think human beings have been created by a superior force, but religion has been created by human beings. Barriers, rules have been created by human beings. So we should all rise above this, and as a fraternity of lawyers, we have to ensure that the secularism which is guaranteed by the Constitution of India is meaningful, that no person is denied justice, that every person gets a meal, gets his clothing, medical facilities, education, and is treated equality, is treated with dignity. Now, what should we do as a group? As a group, it is important that when we see that some kind of wrong is done, there is no point in making lip service, but act. You are lawyers. If a person is inciting or fomenting discord in any way, there are provisions in the Indian Penal Code. Make use of that. Lodge a complaint. If that complaint is not taken, you know better than anyone else what to do. If it is not taken at the police station level, you go to the higher level, you go to the superintendent of police. If need be, you file an application in court. Stop it. I have seen that this organization has been also doing a lot of legal aid and creating legal awareness is one of the objects of this association. A very laudable object indeed. Having chaired the Calcutta High Court Legal Services Committee for almost 4 years till my transfer, to Delhi High Court, and having been officiating chairperson of the West Bengal Legal Services Authority also till my transfer to the Delhi High Court, and later as chairperson of the Delhi State Legal Services Authority and patron of the Tamil Nadu State Legal Services Authority, I am well aware and conscious of what the people really need. So you can perhaps participate in legal awareness camps which are held, build up legal awareness. Even without participating in camps, a lot of work can be done individually. As lawyers, I need not even mention this, but sometimes we do. When we talk about justice, who gives justice? Who gives? Is it the judiciary? Is it the judiciary which gives justice? Well, yes, the judiciary adjudicates disputes, but it's not just the judiciary. It's the legislature which enacts the law. It's the executive which implements the law. It's the judiciary which interprets the law. But over and above anyone else, it is the people in general, society, which secures justice and which also does injustice. Let us say, when there is discrimination in the family between a son and a daughter, who is at fault? A member of the society or members of the society who constitute the family? When there is ill treatment of a person, insult to a person on the ground of caste, creed, color, religion, who is doing the wrong? It is society which is doing the wrong. It is people who are doing the wrong. So apart from creating legal awareness, it is extremely important to sensitize people. I just started off with a reference to the travails of a junior member of the bar, particularly first generation lawyers. Now, sitting here, when Mr. Yusuf introduced himself, I was telling him I had occasion to appear before his late father, Justice K.L. Yusuf, a judge of the Calcutta High Court. I still remember it was a bench of Justice G.N. Ray sitting with Justice Yusuf in court number 6. Court number 6. That is the court where Justice G.N. Ray used to sit. And that is where I really made my first breakthrough in the profession. My senior was not around. I did the case. I got an order from the judges, and the solicitor, he became a little more confident about briefing me, and thereafter he started briefing me fairly regularly. I got assistance from my senior. I learned the alphabets of law. In our times, you know, legal education was not as it is today. There had been a decline in the standard of legal education. So I learned the tricks of the trade. I learned law in the chamber of my senior. But apart from my senior, there were others who had helped me. So I appeal to all of you here, please help the juniors who come into the profession. Take them to your fold. Give them some opportunity. And the profession as a whole will flourish. As a fraternity, we must ensure, apart from upholding the noble principles of secularism, equality, liberty, justice, social justice, economic justice, political justice, fraternity. Apart from that, as a profession, we have to be strong. Unfortunately, there is criticism against lawyers, against judges, against the judiciary in general. So I appeal to the lawyers to work sincerely when they represent a client. Speaking for myself, I have no hesitation in admitting that the best judgments came when there was good argument from the lawyers. It was the lawyers who helped me to deliver good judgments. Similarly, when a lawyer is unprepared, not ready, there can also be injustice. You think of a judge of the Supreme Court handling 65 special leave petition files which come to the judge the previous evening or maybe a day or two earlier. Is it possible, humanly possible, for the judge to read every line of 65 files? No. But those who represent these clients have actually prepared the brief. So they are much better equipped to assist the court. So you have to ensure that justice is not denied by reason of lack of preparedness on the part of a lawyer. That is your duty. And today, of course, one has also to be careful because of some articles and all which you read, which even talk of bringing judges into the fold of consumer protection laws, not to speak of lawyers. Therefore, you have to keep yourself fully guarded against this. But then we all know that when something is done bona fide, then that does not constitute negligence, that does not constitute a breach. But when there is lack of preparedness, that may constitute a breach. In the midst of all this, uphold the dignity of the profession, uphold the dignity of the judiciary. Be punctual, be courteous to the court, but not servile. You have a duty to be courteous to the court. But if you find that the judge is being difficult, he's not listening, then you have to be firm and you have to put your point across. Today, we are bogged down with areas. So, unlike the good old days when the juniors would start a case by opening a brief and reading the judgment of the lower court, today you have to be much faster. You have to put your best points forward. The juniors should ensure that they are ready with their list of dates. They are ready with written notes of submissions. All the points are jotted down in a piece of paper. You know, when I speak extempore, it often happens to me, when I go back, I say, oh, this is what I had meant to say, but I forgot. So, when this happens to a lawyer arguing in court, it can prove very expensive so far as the client is concerned. Since we work very hard, a common forum for exchange of views on every possible area is equally important. Now, how much time have I taken? Huh? After all, I was a lawyer for 16 and a half years. So once I'm given the microphone, I can just go on and on and on till somebody tells me stop, enough. As we used to sometimes do sitting in court. So I give you the liberty to tell me that my time is up. We must endeavor to uphold the Constitution, to uphold the laws, to help people belonging to the fraternity, help the people of the community in general, the Indians in general, I would say. Why Indians? People, human beings and everyone else. Utilize your knowledge. Give something back to society for all that you have got. Apart from that, social interactions are also important. It gives you a break from the monotonous work that you do. Encourage cultural activities and other activities. I wish the state convention a resounding success, and I do hope that all of you who are attending this convention will go back with something which will help you to contribute to the fraternity of lawyers and to delivery of justice in general. I was talking about sensitization. Now, this is something which I've always considered very important. More than the holding of any sensitization camp, awareness camp, textbooks, people talking to one another to create sensitization is very important. And I will give you two small examples for that. 2 or 3. The first example is when my uncle got married. The 3 aunts, who were much older in age, sat down together. My mother was not participating so much, but she was very much a party to it. They were criticizing a lot of things. I turned around, and when the other 2 aunts went out for a while, I told my mother, "Ma, don't forget you have 3 daughters and no son. How would you feel if one of our in-laws behaved in this way?" After that, I never heard her criticizing any bride or gifts which came from the bride's family. On the other hand, she used to protest when there was such criticism. The second was when a chauffeur of mine who had joined joined me very slightly after my elevation, told me, "Aap to lady hai." So I turned around and said, "What do you mean?" "Men like you and others come for justice. So if a woman is educated, if she succeeds in life, she can excel. And I'm not suggesting that those who are homemakers are any less, because I admit that what I am today is primarily because of my mother, who encouraged me. I remember those days when I used to return home from my chamber in the last bus, which used to come to Lake Gardens from New Alipur. Initially, my mother used to go and stand at the bus stop. Then the local people told her, "Auntie, you need not stand here. We all know your daughter. She will be perfectly safe here." Initially, she used to wait with the dinner. The dinner used to be prepared and she used to wait. She put up with all my late night conferences. Till I told her one day, "Ma, for heaven's sake, have your dinner. Because if you have your dinner, then if I'm hungry, I can eat something outside and come. But if I know that you are going to wait without eating, then I won't be able to eat elsewhere, even if I'm hungry." The third one was, I had a lady who worked for me, and she was a Mohammedan. Now, on an occasion, there were sweets in the house, and when it was offered to her, she had declined because the sweets were offered on an occasion. The other maid came and told me that, "See, I gave her so many nice things and she declined. She did not have it." So I just turned around and said, "What's your problem? You have it. You're saying these are nice things. You have it. If someone is not having it, it's his individual choice." But I used to eagerly look forward to Eid, because we Bengalis are non-vegetarians.
Yes.
So I used to look forward to the biryanis and the kebabs, which used to sometimes come, and once made by Shahana herself. Later on, she used to ask for it and only say that, "Please don't tell my husband, then I'll get a spanking at home." So one day, I called her and I told her, "Look, Shahana, religion doesn't depend on the food we eat. Religion is there within. So by eating a biryani dish, I will not lose my religion, I will not cease to be a Hindu." Of course, I'm fucking Mr. Agarwal because he's so particular, he doesn't even have tea in my house. because non-vegetarian food is cooked in my house. So at the highest, he will have Haldiram ka bhujia if I offer it to him. And I can't offer him anything more than that. But he knows I'm a non-vegetarian. So I explained to him that your religion depends on your own beliefs. I also know Justice Kurian Joseph, who's a complete vegetarian. I was quite surprised. So it is a matter of individual choice, decision. Now talking about Shahana being bashed up by her husband or fearing getting bashed up by her husband. There is one thing which pains me. When it comes to doing, at other times there is unity. People are fighting. But when it comes to something wrong, one seems to be following the other. When I was taking up criminal matters, when I started to take up criminal matters in the Calcutta High Court, I was shocked to see a whole lot of bail applications where the allegation was against Mohammedans of demanding and torturing for dowry, subject to correction by my brothers sitting here. I think dowry from a woman is barred by religion. Am I correct? Am I correct? Dowry is barred. You have to give. You give meher and meher and din meher. Yes. Actually, you have to pay the full money, but sometimes by agreement, people decide that there will be din meher at the time of marriage, and later on, in case of talaq, the balance may have to be paid. So the religion does not support torture of a woman. It does not, it prohibits dowry. The second is alcohol. I'm not saying whether taking alcohol is good, bad, indifferent, nothing. But how many people take it irrespective of religion? And irrespective of what their religion says about it. Similarly, it is the same with the people of the other community also. So when it comes to perpetrating inequality and perpetrating injustice, sometimes irrespective of religion, caste, community, creed, color, people seem to be united in their thoughts, I would say. So when you speak on a one-to-one basis, in the Supreme Court, I had about 8 attendants. None of them spoke about saving for their daughter's marriage or dowry, but they all spoke of educating their children and helping them to stand on their feet. So this is the societal role which we all have as educated people belonging to a profession which is referred to as learned. It has been wonderful being with you after such a long time. Of course, I envy Justice Korgupta because he can still practice and he can still head a convention of lawyers. By becoming a judge of the Supreme Court for 4 years, I lost that right. I would have loved to be back in the profession to practice. Thank you very much. And wish you all very much.
blessing to us today, hearing from you, your personal experiences, and about your wonderful thoughts on secularism.